Hi everyone. So as many of you know, I have had most of my adult life filled with illness. I had irritable bowel disease, specifically ulcerative colitis. And through that illness, it really allowed me to learn a lot about myself, to reconnect to my heart and my soul and my truth. And I've done a lot of videos and blog pieces about embracing illness, looking at it in a completely different way. One where you can make peace with what's going on so it can then move out of your experience and we can have lasting healing. So for me, I healed the disease about 5 years ago by embracing my emotions, really asking my heart and my body what it was showing me, why the illness was there, what I was holding on to. And it was quite an emotional journey. A lot of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of terror really from my entire life that I had held in my gut. And I always like to let everybody know that you can still live a joyous, peaceful, really wonderful life while still having physical symptoms. I think a lot of people are very focused on healing the body, on fixing the body. And sometimes the more we get focused on fixing things that we don't like in our lives, the more that shows up in our lives and it kind of sticks to us. So I teach a lot about embracing where you're at, embracing what's going on, even if you don't like it. And my main symptom that I use for a lot of my examples in my videos and my talks is having bowel continence. Any of you know that people who have Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis and even some IBS have a lot of digestive issues. At one time I was running to the bathroom maybe 20 times a day, and not making it to the bathroom in my own home. So the bowel incontinence was one symptom that never really went away. It got a little bit better here and there, even after the disease healed though, but it kind of stayed with me. So I went on that journey of embracing it, talking to it, surrendering, really learning about surrendering, about how to be okay with this going on in my body and how to still be able to move forward and live my life. I had to become willing to have bathroom accidents in public because I got really tired of isolating myself. That's no way to live isolated. I had to be willing to embrace the shame and the embarrassment of having those public bathroom accidents and moving through that. And for the most part, I have. For the most part, it got really easy. I worked through the emotional stuff around it. And even though I was still having the physical symptoms, I didn't have so much emotional attachment to it, for the most part. So it's summer now, and we have a vacation planned in about 6 weeks. I have to fly on a plane to go visit some family and go on vacation. And I haven't been on a plane in about 10 years because of the bowel incontinence. It caused a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear. And so a couple months ago, when I made the plane ticket, I was like, okay, no big deal. I can do this now. I've worked with this enough. It'll be fine. And then as it got closer, some of the fear and anxiety creeped in. And I started to feel a little panicky off and on when I would think about having to be on a plane, possibly pooping my pants, not being able to change possibly because of the bathrooms are so tiny, and being around people in close quarters and the smell and the embarrassment and all of that. And it started to creep back in, and I sat with this and I did some more meditations. I decided to just really amplify the light in my body, because we are all light. We're all light beings. And so my new mantra became, I am light and light I shall remain. I don't need this fear. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I truly believe if I bring more light into my being, my cells activate the light that they already have within, there will be healing, there will be peace, there will be calmness. So I believe all this, and yet, of course, still the anxiety comes up and the fear came up. And I just decided to stay diligent with this. And my intention every day was, you know what? I'm going to get on this plane. It's okay if I panic. It's okay if I have a bathroom accident. Everything will be okay. I am safe. Because that's at the core of everything, right? Most everybody's issues in life, whether it's emotional, physical, whatever it is, usually at the core It's all about not feeling safe in this life, not feeling safe in our bodies. But we are safe. No matter what, we are inherently safe. We are light, we are love, we are safe. So this is something that I have been really, really bringing more of into my life the past couple weeks, more than ever, and bringing more light into my body and activating more light through my meditations and visualizations. And what came to me was one of the hardest things I have is getting in the car. One of the hardest situations I have is getting in the car. And I live outside of town, so I have to drive pretty much 30 minutes to really get to anywhere I want to go. And my body seems to activate when I get into the car, and my intestines start cramping. And even if I'm not having super fearful thoughts, even if I'm excited to go somewhere, it's like my body just takes over and starts, cramping, and then I have to run to the bathroom every 10 minutes, and there's not always a bathroom available, all of that stuff. And what I discovered as I was bringing more light into my body, I was getting these images of nature. At first I was getting these images of nature, and it occurred to me, my knowing just knew that, oh, this is what I'm supposed to focus on when I get in the car. Let's focus away from the body. Let's focus away from scanning the horizon for bathrooms, and let's just start focusing on clouds in the sky, flowers, colors of the trees I'm driving by. So I started doing that. And the more I was looking at the leaves on the trees as I was driving by, the beautiful colors of the green, the blue of the sky, I was starting to bring more of this peace and presence into my body. And whenever anyone is having a hard time with anxiety or fear, or feeling out of your body, not centered and not in your harmony and your alignment, go out into nature. And if you can't go out into nature, visualize nature. Connect to the trees energetically. You can imagine being with the trees, the plants, the animals, whatever in nature calls you. You can imagine, and you can take a break from your body and go join them energetically through your imagination, and that can help bring relief to the situation. So I started doing this more as I was driving, and I did notice very much that my intestines were calming down. And it wasn't so much that I needed to use a bathroom every 10 minutes, but it was about calming the cells and that automatic response that my body has had for so many years, that it kind of became, well, it was cellular memory is what it was. My body, just as soon as I get in the car, just went into that panic of, okay, intestines, we have to start cramping, we have to start, doing all this stuff and ramp up the digestive system because we're in a car, and that's where we have our bathroom accidents, is in the car. And it just started calming a lot of that down. I didn't completely take it all away, but it started calming it down, and I started coming back to my center. And then as the weeks went on here, I've been meditating more, focusing more on opening my heart and really asking my body through my heart what it is here to tell me. What is this telling me? Because I really am feeling complete with the Ballon continence, with those symptoms. They served me for a long time. They really taught me a lot about surrendering and about how to reconnect with myself and feeling safe in this world, and I really feel complete with it. And so I got this sense that there's not really anything to work through anymore for myself. I've done the emotional releasing. That was a lot of in my body, held in my gut, but there was still something with the cellular memory. The cells were still holding on to something. So even when I'm not feeling anxious or afraid, my cells in certain situations respond as if that's what I was feeling still. For example, getting in the car, thinking about getting on a plane. And of course that is thoughts, because I'm not on a plane, but those are my thoughts of like, okay, if I get on a plane, will I be okay? And my body responds to that. So as I was doing more speaking to my body, bringing more light into my intestines, I got these images, these visualizations, memories really. I got these memories of when this started. And I was aware of this already before, but I really thought I'd work past it. And the more I felt into it, I realized I worked past the trauma, I worked past the fear, I worked past the anxiety that I was holding in my gut, the emotional energy I was holding in my body, in my cells, but I still was holding on to some cellular memory. My gut had not released completely the experience and was still reacting as if I was still in that experience. So what came to me, and why it's so rough for me to travel and to get into a car, and it doesn't matter where I'm going. I could be going to the grocery store and my body goes into high alert survival mode just driving to a grocery store. You know, I don't have any worries or thoughts about going to a grocery store. It's just a grocery store. I love grocery shopping, actually. I love looking at all the colors of the produce and the fruit and the vegetables, and it's exciting. I love going to a grocery store. But my body was still responding as if it was in high alert survival mode. So the images I got were of when I was a child and I had to get in the car to go to school. It was that getting ready in the morning, that ramping up of my gut. It was the, you know, while I was trying to eat breakfast because I knew I didn't want to be hungry, but I felt a bit sick to my stomach. And it was the idea of having to get in the car and drive to school, which for me, it felt like a prison. It felt like a place of torture because I was teased a lot. I was bullied. I was highly, highly sensitive. So I was bombarded by everyone's energy. I was, you know, constantly feeling all the kids' anxiety, anger of the teachers, nervousness, like all of that. So for me, my body associated that with getting in a car, even getting ready for the day too. It was the start of the ramping up of it. And then by the time I was in middle school, I was actually having a lot of stomach pain. I didn't have real digestive issues yet. My digestion still worked all right, but I definitely had a lot of pain, not butterflies in your stomach, but like, you know, pain, like intense cramping. And I would have to get out of the car because I think it was one semester in middle school where I took a PE before school even started, and my mother had to drive me. I couldn't take the bus. And I remember her telling me I had to get out of the car. And I was just terrified to get out of the car because it was like walking to my death sentence. I didn't feel safe. And I felt trapped. And there was nothing I could do. So I took that into my body, and my cells, my body associated that with being in a car, with traveling, not knowing if I'll be safe to travel to my destination when I get there. And then once school was out and I would get out and I would take the bus home, it was just relief. And I had no problem on the way home. Complete relief, no problem getting in a car, no problem being in a bus. You know, I was free again. And that still plays out today, because once I am at my destination, or once I am on my way home from wherever I went, my intestines relax completely. They relax completely. And I always thought that was strange. I never really quite put that together with how my body responded as a kid and as a teenager to leaving the house, to going to wherever it was, work, school, an unknown place, and how that was still playing out for me today. I had a sense of it, but I didn't really understand. So I got these visualizations, and this was so helpful to me, and this is something everybody can do when you sit more either in nature or you're doing your meditation, however you want to do it. And I just imagine, you know, bringing in golden light through my body into my heart, filling up my heart, and then allowing the light to go anywhere in my body that it needs to be, where healing needs to be. And then I just ask questions. Can you show me what is here? Is there anything for me to know? And sometimes there's not, and I just, you know, allow the light to be there and activate the light in my cells. And sometimes I get visualizations and I get dreams, and I go out of my body and I come back and I'm like, whoa, where did I just go? Or I have the memories that come back that help me to be able to further release and bring the peace back into those cells. Is what I'm doing now, and what I recommend everybody do at some point in their life, is you can feel through your emotions, you can work through the emotional stuff, release the emotions, and that's perfectly first step. That's great to get connected in that. And then sometimes for some of us, when we've been in a pattern for so long, or we've had a physical imbalance for so long, there's the cellular memory, and there's the part where we have to reactivate the light, bring in the peace, into our cells and really start to cultivate that sense of safety, of security, of love, of light, knowing that we're okay and our body can let go of that memory, can let go of that trauma. And this trauma was, it's very evident for me how it played out in my current life now, but I also had a very strong sense that this is a pattern I've had for many lives. I really believe that this life is where I chose to heal it. This is why it's all coming up for me now. This is why it's in my face, why I'm able to access it, why I'm able to move through it. It's because this is the lifetime where I chose to heal this. I think I had a lot of trauma to my gut, my digestive tract. I held a lot of energy there for a lot of lifetimes, a lot of fear of my own safety. And I'm ready to transmute that and let that go. And I have, for the most part. This is what's so wonderful, is when you start to really connect with your body, with your heart and your soul, and you embrace the light that you are, and you start living in your truth, the truth of who you are, everything just falls away. Everything that doesn't serve you any longer starts to fall away. And there's no hard work to be done. There might be emotions to feel through, but it's not hard work. It all comes up naturally and releases naturally. So I wanted to share that with you guys, because this is a new way of looking at symptoms for me in particular, because I've always, well, at first, I always wanted to fix them, right? Everyone goes through that fix-it mode. And then I learned to embrace them, and that brought about a lot of healing, embracing what was going on in my body, allowing it to be okay. If you guys can hear the buzzing, it's not your devices. The cicadas have just started to all give a beautiful chorus in the trees. So it's a really loud buzzing. But then you start to embrace where you're at, even if you don't like it, and you make it okay, so it can start to move and shift. Because when we resist where we're at, it sticks to us, right? It sticks to us like glue, and everything kind of gets harder and closed in and more condensed. And what we want to do is we want to open. We want to open the heart. We want to open ourselves, open to the light, open to the love, and allow everything to move on, to move through us, to release, so we can bring in more of our truth, bring in more of our light, and relax and settle into it. So I'm in a place now where I've done my emotional work, I've done all of that healing on that level, and I'm really bringing the light into my cells and into my body through meditation, visualizations, being out in nature, listening to the cicadas. I mean, I don't know if you guys can hear that, you probably can, but just that frequency of that buzz, I find really healing and grounding. There's something about the frequency of the cicadas that just grounds me, just really, really feels good. Yeah. So then it's about bringing more light into our lives, and that feeling of safety, that knowing of safety, knowing we are safe, knowing we are love and light. And I truly believe with that connection and that knowing, we then elevate our vibration to a place where perceived illness, perceived fears, doubts that we have in our lives actually dissolve and drop away. And that's something I've been experiencing too, is fears that I've had since childhood, just some past PTSD triggers, and stuff that didn't bother me every day but would be an automatic trigger, I've noticed are now just dissolving. I'm waking up some days and it's gone. It's just gone. Certain stuff that I've had. And I know that this digestive response, this intestinal response for me can dissolve and be gone too. And it's continuing to get better and better as the days goes on. Because I want to travel. I want to travel. I want to, go places. I want to do more public speaking. I want to be more comfortable leaving the house and having more fun. So it's time. It's time for me to allow these symptoms to heal and transmute, and my cells to just start vibrating with the light and the love and the frequency that they're at. So everybody have a great day, and I will be talking to you guys soon. Bye.